Department of Homeland Security is warning the U.S. could soon see protests similar to the ones being staged by Canadian truckers. The demonstrators are blocking several key border crossings in opposition to COVID vaccine mandates. Authorities now say a similar convoy could form in California on Super Bowl Sunday. Nicole Sganga is here now with the details on how the protests could play out. So, Nicole, what are you hearing about what the DHS is saying with regards to whatever these groups have planned in the coming weeks? I know it's not just the Super Bowl. They're also thinking about the State of the Union.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Vlad, Amory, good to be with you. The Department of Homeland Security warning U.S. law enforcement agencies that groups of truckers could plan a protest of COVID-19 vaccine mandates that could start as soon as this weekend in Los Angeles, of course, at the site of the Super Bowl. But the bulletin we obtained also says the convoy could then head east, possibly reaching Washington, D.C. in time for the president's State of the Union. That's March 1st. DHS, according to this bulletin, has received reports of truck drivers planning to potentially block roads in major metropolitan cities in the U.S. in protest of, among other things, vaccine mandates. Now, DHS has no indication that individuals involved are engaged in anything other than First Amendment protected activity. But where there is a large gathering of demonstrators like this, federal law enforcement makes contingency plans. And in this case, if hundreds or even thousands of trucks converge in a major metropolitan city, the potential exists to severely disrupt transportation, government operations, commercial facilities, emergency services through gridlock, even potential counter-protests. We've seen some of that already in Canada. In fact, just yesterday, 5 car companies, Ford, GM, Toyota, Honda, Chrysler, halting production at some facilities, citing supply chain problems, with closures already impacting American workers in places like Michigan, North Dakota, Montana. The concern is this could get worse.
Well, Nicole, you point out that this is their right to protest. So then what are the options for DHS to at least limit any potential disruption?
Anne-Marie, the delicate balance here facing law enforcement in both Canada and perhaps soon in the U.S. is preventing violence. That's really the criminal threshold in any federal law enforcement response. Any violence could trigger a much larger outpouring of resources beyond the, by the way, already hundreds of officers who are lining up in Los Angeles around SoFi Stadium for the Super Bowl. More than 2,000 state, local, federal officers already there. Everything from CBP Blackhawk and patrol boats to FBI SWAT teams on standby on the ground. And that's simply standard operating procedure for an event the size of the Super Bowl, something that we call a Tier 1 in federal law enforcement jargon. That means Secret Service has already stood up an incident command post in Los Angeles to help coordinate among the more than 40 agencies working to secure the stadium. But yesterday we did learn from White House officials that DHS is surging additional personnel and staff on top of that to its incident command post. The department telling me they are aware of some of this online chatter circulating. And Anne-Marie and Vlad, analysts and researchers at DHS who typically track for threats online, will also be looking in the coming days, both before and after the Super Bowl, for any indications that more than just peaceful demonstrators are planning to gather here in the U.S.
So, Nicole, as you know, politicians, figures from the far right, and anti-vaccine groups from around the world have sort of waded into Canada's protests. What are you learning about how they are potentially coordinating online and in the real world? Because we have seen images. I know it's a small group of people perhaps waving Confederate flags or other symbols of that may seem to some people to be sort of antithetical to Canada. Canada was not part of our history when it comes to the Confederacy, so why would you see Confederate flag being waved at one of these protests? So what are you learning?
Yeah, Vlad, it's a really important point. Also worth noting that more than just truck drivers have participated in these protests. In fact, Canada's movement has really brought together, as you mentioned, lawmakers, right-wing influencers, even financial backers from around the world. We've heard from everyone from former President Donald Trump to Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene showing their support, donations pouring in on crowdfunding websites, messages exchanged on places like Telegram, Facebook, Clubhouse, other encrypted apps, and far-right personalities. Eric Trump, the former president's son, Dan Bongino, Mike Huckabee, the list goes on, coaxing their supporters to contribute and using alternatives to GoFundMe like Give, Send, Go. If that sounds familiar, that was the site used to raise money for the legal defense of Kyle Rittenhouse, the U.S. teenager acquitted of shooting and killing 2 men during the Kenosha riots. The Canadian Superior Court of Justice issuing just yesterday an order to halt access to funds collected via Give, Send, Go, but not before supporters of this protest were able to contribute more than $8 million to that platform. And on Thursday, one allied group of American protesters, some of whom are already in Canada, in support of demonstrators, announced plans to stage another convoy at the California music festival Coachella beginning next month on March 5th. What began in Canada has taken on global recognition. And whenever we see that sort of growth, we begin to see a looser laundry list of anti-establishment causes associated with this event. Links to fundraising websites have been shared on Telegram and 4chan channels that are typically associated with white supremacist causes. We should point out that not everyone here is a trucker, and of course not every trucker agrees with what's happening in Canada. In fact, just yesterday, the president of the American Trucking Association issuing a statement strongly opposing any protest activities that disrupt public safety and compromise the economic and national security of the United States.
All right, Nicole, that is a whole lot of money raised that could keep them going for quite a while. Thank you very much.
Thank you.